going, Galaxy? It's Galaxifly here, and iOS 9 has introduced some new battery-saving techniques that they implemented in their new iOS 9 service. So, I'm going to be teaching you how to use these tweaks and how to help you preserve iPhone battery life. So, the first tweak or, feature they added is low power mode. Now, this is brand new. To enable this, all you have to do is go into battery and enable low power mode. Now, when you tick low power mode, you're going to notice that your iPhone or whatever gadget you're using, iDevice, actually is slower by 40 times. So the CPU is being used less by 40 times, which means that things are going to load slower and performance is all around going to be terrible. But it also helps with your battery and, sort of like cuts down on things that you wouldn't normally use in your everyday life. So that's one trick. And besides this, what else could we do to preserve our battery? So I'm going to give you a couple helpful tips to help you preserve your battery life on iOS 9. Alright, so I'm going to show you a couple of methods from most extreme to less extreme. So the first thing is obviously low power mode. That's most extreme. Once you need it, that's what you need. So the next would be background app refresh. And to get to here, you want to go to general and background app refresh. Now I'll just keep it off. If you want it on, I mean, that's up to you. You could disable each little one. Me, I just disable the whole thing, because when I go to check an app, I check an app to refresh it. I don't need it refreshing in the background without me knowing or something like that. So it's just easier just to leave it off, and that's it. Remember, background app refresh is obviously what the name implies. It refreshes the apps in the background constantly every single second to make sure you get all the notifications at a specific time. And to open it, it's already there, it's just easier, but also it does consume a lot of power, so I would turn that off. Alright, so next up, we are going to go into general, and we are going to go to notifications. Notifications should be around here. Now, you're going to have to go on a diet here. Turn off all notifications that you do not want. So, as you can see, I've already turned off a bunch of notifications that I do not need, as in Clash of Clans. So I really want to be notified when my elixirs are all built up and I'm ready to unload them. No, I don't want that. So, as you can see, messages I would keep on, but let's say for PayPal, do I really want to know, that, I have money in my account or something like that? Like, no, I already know I have money in my account. So you can go turn this off, go on a diet here. All these are constantly giving you notifications. Just remember, when is the last time you used these stuff? As in reminders. I never set myself a reminder, so I'll go turn that off. Alright, next step we're going to do is display and brightness. Now, display and brightness, this is a big, keen step for battery life. So, if I were you, I would turn off auto brightness. I would put it at a certain adjustment. Maybe you like it down here. Maybe you like it pretty bright. Whatever you want, so it's constantly not changing in the background. Now, if I were you, for the ultimate battery saving, I would keep it below 50%. So, as you can see, this is around 50, so keep it around below that. It's still bright as it is. Me personally, I keep on auto brightness because at bed I usually use my phone and I put it off and on or whatever. But if you're not like that, if you don't really use your phone, just keep it off. Or if you don't really use your phone too much at nighttime, keep it on like a certain brightness, like maybe around here would be good. Alright, so the next step would be your control center, so you want to slide that up. Now make sure AirDrop is off. So it's not always using it. If you have Bluetooth on, make sure to click that off so Bluetooth is not fetching in the background for something. And if you don't have Wi-Fi and you're using LTE, I would recommend turning Wi-Fi off. Now this helps greatly with battery life. But if you're in your house and you do have Wi-Fi, make sure that's on. Having Wi-Fi on makes the battery actually consume less power. Keeping it off when you don't need it consumes a lot of power, my bad. So make sure you have Wi-Fi off when you don't need it, Wi-Fi on when you do need it. Next, we're going to go into general and handoff and suggestive apps. Now, first of all, handoffs should be off if you don't own a Mac. If you do own a Mac and you connect your phone with, an iDevice or a Mac to take place where you left off, then you would keep that on if you want. It still consumes some power, but I mean, it's good for you. But if you don't have a Mac, keep that off. And in suggested apps, now this tab should be off. The only reason why you should keep it on, and the only reason why they had this feature, is basically if you go to a Starbucks or Bank of America and you're on your lock screen, the app would show up on the bottom left of the screen. Now, this could be convenient for some people, but for me and probably most people who own an iDevice, you're not going to need that at all. So you want to turn that off because it's constantly in the background trying to look for your location and trying to find a store nearby. Alright, for this next step, we're going to go into iTunes and App Store, and we're going to turn off automatic downloads for all these, because you don't want downloads running in the background. Next thing you're going to do, sorry about that, is turn off suggested apps. This is going to save a lot of CPU, and if you could see, maybe it says app suggestions appear on the lock screen and an app switcher based on location and app usage. So this doesn't really matter to you unless you want to, find apps fast that you used before, which is really stupid in my opinion. Just turn that off. That would save a lot of battery and CPU power. Okay, for this next one, you want to go into privacy, and you want to scroll down until you see motion and fitness tracking. Now, what you want to do is, if you don't use a health app or don't like yourself getting tracked every second with like your footsteps and stuff and where you go to, which I personally don't, I would turn both of these off. Now, if you actually go into the health app, you're going to see that if this was on before, it would show all how many steps you walk. So it's pretty cool. I personally don't use it, and I don't like being tracked, so I'm going to turn that off. Alright, next you want to scroll down until you see advertising, and you want to enable limit ad tracking. Now this is going to help you with ads on Safari. So let's say you type in Microsoft.com. You don't see like ads and stuff saying like, oh, Microsoft help, and all these fake websites. This helps with a lot of CPU battery, trying to look at your location and put ads towards what is more suitable for you. Alright, so the next thing we're going to want to do is scroll down to System Services, and if you want, just disable all these things. If you want, pause this video, disable the things on your phone, but like me, this is just a basic thing. I find my iPhone on because I want to see my iPhone if I ever lose it. I could turn off motion calibration and distance, but I'm not going to mess with all this because this is the basic setup. So next you're going to go to frequent location. You're going to want to turn this off. Now what this basically does is it tracks your location. So let's say you go into Target every now and then you ask Siri, hey Siri, find me a store. Then it's going to go straight to Target, and it's going to be like, oh, Target's nearby. So it basically helps you with stores and stuff. Alright, so this next one we're going to go into iCloud. I'm going to blur a lot of this stuff out, but if you scroll down, you're going to see that there's a lot of things ticked. You're going to want to disable basically all these things. Because what this does is every time you open the app or you're just on the home screen and you're on Wi-Fi or something like that, you're just going to sync the data over. So I keep contacts on because if I ever lose my phone, contacts will be synced, but you could disable a lot of stuff that you don't need. Also, a good battery saving thing to keep off is Keychain. Alright, for this next one, you want to go into your mail application and you want to go to, where is it? Disable push. So click on fetch data and disable push. Now also you're going to want to go into each individual email and go to manual. So basically, if you don't want to receive emails constantly, if you just want to check them when you open the app, then this is good for you. Alright, so I have showed you guys all the iPhone improvements to preserve battery life from most effective to least effective. I can't say that word for some reason. But I am going to go even further, every little piece of detail to preserve battery life on your iPhone. What if you need that little percent, that 1% to get you through the day? So first tip, turn on airplane mode when you're not using your data. Airplane mode preserves battery because it's not constantly fetching to see if there's Wi-Fi around, to see if there's LTE, there's signal for phone calls and stuff, cellular data. So all this is now canceled. All you want to do is just check that airplane mode button over there. Also, if you want, you could go into sounds. I don't prefer this, but if you want, you could turn off vibrate on ringtone, vibrate on silence, and just uncheck all that, because this actually turns off the motor, obviously, to the iPhone, which makes the battery last longer. I know it does seem like a little bit stupid, honestly. I think it's stupid, but it's on the list, so I'm going to add it in there anyway. Alright, so this next one is really cool. I love this one. I recommend it for everybody. Go into privacy, usage, and do not send. Now basically this doesn't just send all, errors and stuff to Apple. So this actually does save battery life. It does save, your phone bill if you're using LTE. Because basically, if anything happens to the phone, it's just seeing if everything works correctly. If there's an error in the system, it's going to send to Apple. But, there's millions of other people doing this, so I would click Don't Send. For this next one, I highly, highly recommend it. Go into General, go into Accessibility, my bad, I can't talk for some reason. Go into Increase Contrast, and check all these boxes. Basically, what this does is, as you can see, if I go to the Control Center, it's not going to be transparent. If I go to Notification Center, it's going to be black. I'm going to blur that out. If you go home, actually, you're going to see there's no parallel effects on the home screen, so you move the device and the apps move with it. This does save a great amount of battery. Also, we could go down here and we're going to go to Reduce Motion and check that on. Now, what this does is, when you go home, obviously, that parallel effects is gone. So, it's pretty simple, it's pretty cool. I don't like the reduced motion, so I'm going to check that off. But all these other things are pretty cool with the increased contrast. Plus, reduced white point, I keep on always, because it actually does help with your eyes at nighttime and throughout your phone. Alright, for this next one, I would not recommend doing this, but if you want to save that extra percent, go into notifications, scroll all the way down, and turn off Amber Alert and emergency alerts. Now this would stop any Amber or emergency alerts coming out to your phone, so it's not pushing your phone constantly to see if you can receive one or not. Plus, if you go into General, Spotlight Search, turn off Siri suggestions, and disable all these apps. Now basically, this disables Siri from seeing all the apps you have recently used, which actually does help with the CPU a lot because it makes the software a tad smoother. Plus it helps with your phone battery because Siri is not always trying to see what your most recent apps or most used apps. Alright, for this next one, I would not recommend doing it, but if you do, if you just stay at home a lot, you don't really travel between time zones, you can go into General, Date and Time. I uncheck this. I actually do travel between time zones, but not always, so I keep this off. This stops your phone from trying to constantly connect and see what time it is and where you are. So if it's set automatically is off, it's just going to stay at one time. Alright, this next one is pretty straightforward. Just keep your phone face down. Now, this actually does help with battery life by quite a lot, actually, because every time you get a notification, the phone is upside down, so you can't see it, so the iPhone uses its proximity sensor to shut the screen off, so the screen doesn't light up constantly, and also it doesn't buzz. So if you put it face down, it's going to use a proximity sensor to sense that it's upside down. You're obviously not going to see it anyway, so that's why the iPhone does it. So it's going to save battery life in the long run. Alright, so this next and final step is basic. So all you want to do is turn down your iPhone once a day. This actually does save on battery life. Plus go into settings, scroll into general, software updates, and make sure you're on the top dated software. So you're on the top, there's not outdated software, because obviously software updates do help a lot. Now, also, make sure your battery dies at least from 100 to 0 at least once a month. Now this is called battery reconditioning. Basically what this does is, since iPhone uses a lithium battery, which basically everything uses a lithium battery, but since it uses a lithium batteries need to be preserved and need to be kept in tip-top shape, or else they could die in the long run. Now, to reset a lithium battery is actually pretty cool. You gotta wait till your device reaches 100, use it all throughout the day, whatever. Don't charge it until it reaches 0, and then charge it back up. This resets the battery, it configures itself, and it actually does make the battery life better in the long run. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please like this video, please subscribe if this helps you. Once again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Stay awesome.